prancing, and Bob Bifford here.
Welcome to the Hercule Stadium, where with SugarMAMAS face off against Agen's Elves, and hopefully we'll get bashed to pieces. Joining me for this first replay is Vicious Vanna.
Howdy.
And Agen.
Hello.
Yes, and they've decided they must co-commentate on this game, which is odd, but we will allow it. Hopefully they'll sync up more or less with me, and I will just commentate on things as I do, and they will respond to any of the insulting coaching advice I give in these videos. Which, as you probably are aware, I do.
Yes.
I don't mean it. I just come. I have the advantage of analysis and not playing the game and not seeing what you're seeing.
And hindsight.
And hindsight. Masses of hindsight. I have so much advantage in this area. But still, I can tell what a bad move is. So,
Good thing I have masses of hind.
You do have masses of hind. So, coin flip goes, and the SugarMAMAS are first to attack. So Agen doing the traditional elven defense of not having anybody important next to anybody who can bash, and hoping to counterattack, which is a usual plan. Debbie, on the attack, throws up her white, her skeletons, leaves a gap in the middle, which I guess makes sense for the mummies. Moves the white away, so it's probably better for me to commentate at the end of this, but it looks like you're going for the traditional anti-elf lineup here. Yep, so that forces elves to need dodge rolls, has 2 ghouls back, in fact 3 ghouls back, perfectly arranged to pick up the ball. Nothing wrong with that, though it does mean you're less likely to bash through. And that's great stuff for both of you, you get a reroll. Enjoy! So, SugarMAMA's turn 1. First thing, bash, hits Hardlowski, who goes down. Okay, nothing unusual there, and now just run up to go and catch some elves. And also, you two are not co-commentating. What's going on? I mean, I realise this is just open game manoeuvres, but this is the disadvantage of not having wide players, because now Debbie's just going to go one-on-one against your elves and force them to make dodge rolls. You can make dodge rolls, of course. It's what you do, your elves, but the more dice you force elves to roll, the faster they'll burn through their rerolls.
I have a feeling this is going to be him telling me how to play on a replay.
Yes! This is going to be how it is. That's how I've been doing all of these. I've been telling everybody how to play. So Debbie attempts to pick up the ball, but she did cover it off first. And unfortunately fails again, so turn over. Might have wanted to see if there's anything else to do, but I guess you'd covered all the elves who can run towards you. And here we go. Elven counterattack. Which always works well. Because you got dance. It does. You got strength 3 catchers. They're really annoying. The humans have a decency to have low strength ones. So there you go. You can run your catcher through basically to harass the ball. But if you're feeling brave, you could go to the ball, but I get why you don't. That would be a real bad mistake. And other catcher goes and does the dodge away. Which, interestingly, I didn't realise this, but they start with catch rather than dodge. I
think the only catches Zalotsky has in the dodge.
It's still, Oop, and there's the first failed dodge of the game. Yeah, still 83% chance for elves naturally to dodge, it's just they don't get the reroll. Which basically means you're down to infinitesimally small chances. 1 in 36 of failing a dodge roll at that point. Unless there are lots of guys in the tackle zone areas. So, up comes Zombie. Down comes Zombie.
Here's some friends.
And the bashing continues.
Ow.
You probably should have covered the catcher off before starting bashes. I know your guys are ridiculously huge and likely to win battles, but there's always the chance you can double skull. And if that catcher is exposed, that's the catcher with dodge, who can just go in, pick it up, and then run to a touchdown. And if that happens now, I am absolutely prophetic. I have not watched this in advance. So,
There
second...
was one instance. Well,
Oh,
I
and
won't
that is
tell
a...
you. You'll see
I'll
it.
see it. Don't spoil things, but a reroll used to pick up the ball is always a good reroll use. Not really got a very secure cage though, and you have a habit of going for it with the ball carrier when you don't really need to. I've noticed, Debbie. No reply?
With my ball carrier or with Agen's?
I mean, in general, just in games I've played with you as well as this game, you tend to go for it with the ball carrier when there's not a lot of need to. Because you went.
Well, when I'm really close to the touchdown line.
Yeah, but this is to get you to the center line and actually away from the guys who could have supported any combats. I mean, I get they're blocking cages, but these are elves. They just need to whoosh you, they just need to make a gap and they can dodge through it, which is exactly what's happening now. Whereas if he was close to the zombies, then he'd have to at least deal with the zombies as well when he tries to tackle you. Meanwhile, elven dodging shenanigans away! That's what, dodge 4 of this turn? Dodge 5 of this turn?
This could be a sack.
He has,
When I have...
he has used his blitz, and I... Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, talk.
I was just gonna say, when I have the ball and I'm close to the touchdown line, I figure the closer I get to it, the further out of the
One of my
opposing
mistakes.
player's reach I am.
One of the mistakes I made here was not moving with one of those blitzers, the first of those blitzers, when I onto the white.
Sure.
I just closed off the line. I could have woken up the guy and made him run straight up to the ball carrier.
Well, even though the white is only agility free and doesn't have dodge, so it's only a half chance of getting away. That, though, is an injury. No bad effects, though, but this is where mummies are good. Mighty blow, extra chances of causing injuries.
Yep.
Second bash, just knocks down. Now, what the ghoul does have dodge and agility free, so he's actually better than an elf at getting away from trouble in terms of percentages. 67 with reroll is better than just an 83 base.
I did fail to utilize that as much as I should have.
Well, this is true. I mean, you could have... I mean, it's risky, so you want to secure everything else first, but you should always remember your ghoul can run away if he needs to. Your white has much less chance of doing so, if that's...
Pressure's on, Jim.
Right.
Okay.
Which is why he's got luck.
Okay, what was that about?
Poor Smiley. He's not smiling no more.
I've got 2 questions. One, if you're going to pass, why pass to that white rather than the one who's closer to the touchdown? And 2, why did you pass at all? I mean, even bashing, you have the advantage in this combat. If you decide to just hold up and bash, because eventually those 2 mummies would have made a gap. That being... Yeah, this is kind of now... The elves now have a cage made around the ball. White eventually goes down on my screen. And now dodgy shenanigans again. He's still got both his rerolls as well. You didn't use a reroll to catch the ball there. Agen.
That's because the guys have catch.
Oh, they do have catch. Oh yeah, and that was a zombie next to you. Okay, no, that's fine. You didn't have an opportunity. Still, that's a double fail.
I would have, but they already used the reroll.
Yeah.
It wasn't the team reroll.
You're also at -2 for picking up the ball from there, I guess, but... Anyway.
See, now I'm forming my cage around him.
True, but you're forming the cage where the ball isn't going to be if you pick up this ball and run away with it.
Well, he's got to.
You've got safety if you don't pick up the ball, but it's always a case of where do you want your ball carrier to go. Mind you, the board looks really good for you if you pick this ball up.
My first objective is keep him from running away with it.
One.
Yep, made the dodge. Made the run. Are you going to pass to the white here? This is brave. Okay, reroll the catch, which makes sense. 67 unopposed. White has the ball, does not have the speed to score, but does have the speed to run away. So what's in range? Both elves are out of range of that as well. Oh, you scored from there. You could even play shenanigans and hide in the corner for a round or two, although that's less now you've pulled the zombies away from those two elves. You have... I was about to say, you had one player who could possibly cover, and that was the movement 8 catcher, I think. Could have moved far enough when opposed to at least get to cause the white to have to block. I mean, it wouldn't have made much difference, I guess, but...
Yes, but it didn't seem worth it to even re-roll, I think.
It is always worth it to try and stop a touchdown if you know it's definite if you don't. I mean, sure, she would have had to fail to botch the blodge. Botch the attack back. But at least you've done something then. You could have said, okay, I tried to stop that. Admittedly, that term was short because you tripped anyway, but... Okay, so as we go into the restart, the Elves are down 1, but starting with the ball with more than enough turns to score in. So, this should hopefully be the rebuilding of the anti-elf colander, as I like to refer to it. Yep, this is a fairly good anti-elf defense, actually. You've got all your mobile players behind the line to move to wherever gaps appears, and the elves can't dodge through your starting lineup easily. Though, that being said, they can bash through it, because nobody's really spotted. And the SugarMAMAS can completely rearrange, so this might not be what happens. No, it is. I'd have possibly been inclined to move a couple of ghouls up, just now you know he's not going to, support the two. I don't know. Because, of course, you still have to set up in legal defense, so you can still only have 2 in the edge. Skull and down.
We're wrong.
And One-Eye Irma is stunned. And very stunning.
He is very, very stunning. One eye sparkles.
Okay, in comes Throw with the ball. So now has the pass play ready. And there goes long range catcher. And dodge plays, because you've got to have dodge plays, you're an elf team. In many ways, it's surprising you set that many players on the line. If you just put them one space back, you got away with this without even rolling.
That player better get up. Nothing good comes from spending any time on the
So, the elves have a lot of bodies around the ball, and most of Vanna's players are nowhere near the action. So overall, a good elf turn. It begins, though, with Bash. Okay, white covers the catcher, which is okay. You need to do that. Ghoul also covers catcher. Probably should have moved centrally on both, just additional reroll chant, additional dodge areas he's got to move around. I don't think it makes a difference, though, against a speed 8 player.
At that range now.
Now, it does increase the number of tackle zones, I guess, but what this does mean is you can now move to this space I'm highlighting to the left, and you only have to dodge once. If you'd have been central, you'd have had to dodge twice. So sort of both sides. Mind you, she is now gone for this play, so it's fine. So now, again, he has to dodge twice. Downside, he has dodged, so he has a reroll on any attempt at this. Also, that zombie is going to get surfed. No! Oh, the zombie's not going to get surfed, but he's going to be removed anyway.
Really, don't let them. They're massive and can take your hand right off.
And now you've got a nice clean gap to sneak through. In comes the blitz.
That's a dangerous place to be.
Another one-die block from you, Agen.
Yeah.
You do have rerolls, though, and I guess it does work for you. So, ball carrier moves in. This is a -1, but it does have a reroll to catch, reroll to throw. And he makes 2 dodge rolls to score. And that is elven gittishry. That is absolute gittishness. And I approve. And I secretly approve, sir. But
it's elven.
It's a true elven play. Just, you know, oh, I have so many dodge zones to go through. Oh well, walk. Yeah, there we go. Scored.
Oh, it was one dodge zone.
No, you had to make 2 dodge rolls for that. Because one to move out of the initial tackle zone and one to move out of space away, so it was 2.
Also, they didn't have to make a reroll during that.
No, you didn't. You succeeded on the 3+, succeeded on the 2+. But, as I say, elves will do this occasionally, and the only way to really defend against that is to just make the elves make as many rerolls as you can make them make. The more dice elves roll, the more they will fail, the more they have to use their rerolls up. And it's why it's so annoying you now have 2. Admittedly only 1 at the moment, but still. So, against the elves with 2 turns to go, you have to be somewhat cautious, because it's very unlikely you're going to score, but it's still possible for the elves to steal. And Agen gets to fully reset up, which means he's going to put more people in danger. But this is what he has to do in order to press for a counter attack and to go 2-1 up before the half.
I try a lot of things, but it's just that the mummies and the whites, everything is a bit too strong.
This is true, but in fairness, you only need to sneak through 1 gap and get lucky. You're elves.
As shown.
As shown, yes. As long as you have enough players to do it, it's all good. The downside with elves comes when you start losing 2 or 3 players and you really can't abuse gaps or even make them.
I think also 1 player minus also affected this a bit.
Okay, so effectively down 1.
It reminds me of the famous story of Nurgling and the Great Undead.
And another stun.
But this time,
White, however, skulls. And that is the gap that Elfie McElfison will now try and sneak through. Elfie McElfison being Mr. Line Holderoff. Or maybe not, he'll just push the zombie out of the way and let the catchers do the job. And that was a complete failure, and the most experienced player in the league is going off the pitch. So now it's turn 8. Vanna really doesn't have a lot of options here. As long as the elves aren't going to score, though, she might as well try a cheeky pass play. Which might be what she's about to do. But first off, bash. You have strength 5 characters, you bash. Yeah, next up. A KO. Also, I haven't heard from Vanna in a while. You still on the call, or?
Yep, I am. I had a little bit of replay bloopers I typed in Discord.
Ah.
But I've more or less caught up, though.
Okay, it's fine. We're just at the start of turn 8, SugarMAMAS turn.
Okay.
Yeah, I should really do screen share shenanigans, but it's a little awkward to set up, and I'm lazy, as everybody knows. So, blockage from the whites. Zombie trying to get a kill on the Mr. Expletive.
I didn't realize it was supposed to get hit a Lotsky.
Yes, sure it is, sir. Also, just one point on the pass play you did there, Vanna. It's correct, but that wouldn't have actually scored a point if you'd have made it. Because you had to cover 1 empty square in order to count for SPP. So effectively, you can only pass over 2 spaces for that. Still, it's safe from the elves, at least. Unless he does extreme shenanigans and he can't score from it anyway. He could steal it for his own pass play if he wanted, I guess, but...
Yeah, just try to bash a few people in, hopefully.
No, this is the plan here. Your only person you got left to bash, though, appears to be the mummy. And I think you think better of that.
Yes.
So, it's half-time, 1-1. So, the Elves are effectively down 1, but only the 1 because both their knocked out players return, which is probably fortunate for you.
Very.
Being down 3 against this team, not likely to be good for you.
You can return to the slaughter.
So, the Elves start with the ball.
They're down a
We
place.
could exclaim, thank the Lord, when those two got up.
Hooray! And get the ref. Oh, are we about to see some kicking shenanigans?
Actually, we forgot about that.
Oh! You forgot you could kick players off the pitch?
Yes.
Never forget you can do that. It's a good way of getting experience points because it if you have enough people around a player, it guarantees you'll get an injury roll. With a player like Mighty Blow, like Vanna's Mummies, it's a practically guaranteed injury. Well, it can be a practically guaranteed injury. It's about as much of a guaranteed injury as you can get.
Crowd is mean.
I did it in my game in round 2, which I've already recorded and won't reveal the results of, even though these two know what it is. But I do go for a foul action. I didn't even think I had a bribe for that. It was just I decided to go for the foul action. And slight spoilers, it was foul.
This player likes
Is that a pun? Is that a pun?
You know me in puns, sir. I'll put a pun in everywhere I can just to annoy you. By the way, I've come up with a Lizard Man team. You're going to love them. Every single one of them you're going to love. And also goes into retreats for turn 1, which is unusual, but I guess you haven't really made a breakthrough yet, and you're out of range of any counter bash.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round.
Yeah, I asked him, what are you going backwards for?
No, in this case it makes sense. I mean, he can do a long pass, but he's not really... You can't really get the ball anywhere useful, and if he moves it closer, and you then take the ball off him...
Yeah, then he's in trouble.
It makes enough sense for the moment. And also, he's got everybody on support. It's not like he's got 3 players back there who are basically means he's going to lose the bash. He's doing his best to win it. His best being currently down 2 players. In comes the bash of Rough Tough Cream Puff.
This actually happened in Dylan's game when I retreated the thrower. He shouted, "Coward!"
No, it makes sense. I mean, really the worst thing for you as an elf player is to get the ball carrier attacked and lose it. Especially against a team that is more bashy than you are. And it's not like Vanna's team is actually slow. She's got 3 speed 7 players. That's faster than most of your linesmen.
This is where I feel I made a mistake with the catcher.
This feels like a mistake. I'll be honest. Because
Did
that...
you notice the positioning of the catcher?
Oh, he did not do that, did he?
Yeah, that's where he's.
I thought for half a moment you made the interception. That's what I thought. Half a moment. But...
This is where he proved his slippery worth.
Well, now he's committed and must prevent all the ghouls from doing dodge actions. The downside with this is ghouls are very good at the dodge actions. And a skull.
Which I forgot about quite too frequently.
Well, the mean is, with agility 3 player with dodge is better than an agility 4 player, and most elves are just base agility 4.
Right now, the worst thing I was afraid of is that she would have knocked the catcher off the field.
Yeah, you probably should have a go at this. The downside is what you... This is what I meant by prioritizing. The most important thing for you right now, Vanna, at this game state, cover the ball carrier or kill the ball carrier. By risking blocks here, you're basically giving yourself chances of double skulls, and you probably should have blitzed that.
Yeah, that.
It would only be 1 dice, but any result other than a skull would have meant that he'd have gone off the pitch and ball be in random place, and you could have repositioned. But as it stands now, he needs 1 dodge to score.
And I would need to dodge and a go for it from there.
Well, I'm sure you're about to do it. Yeah, you are definitely about to do it then. In fact, no, you're not. You're just going to walk down without going for it. But
Yeah.
I figured it was a bit safer. I don't know why.
Well, the thing is, on Agen's perspective on that move, if it didn't work, what did you really lose?
Yeah.
Still, that is annoying.
Yeah.
But at least it's done early enough that you've got enough turns to counter and get the draw.
Exactly.
So Dead and Injured still won. You're still up one player.
This is when I realized Agen's full potential.
What, his full potential to be awkward.
And got more determined to stop him.
So Agen's now going for what is a very aggressive defense, though he has done the cardinal mistake of leaving gaps to his catchers.
Yeah.
Especially as Vanna's team is not slow. Bits of it are, certainly, but the whites move at 6, which is average, and she's got movement 7 ghouls. Not the...
No, at this point we thought you were watching the game because I saw you turn Blood Bowl on.
I think I might have just been keeping tabs on it, but I wasn't really. I was just seeing whether you were still in game or not. So anyway...
Then after that last score, we thought something exploded in England.
Oh. No, not as far as I'm aware. So up goes Mummy with ball.
And this is the move that makes me panic.
The players arrive to assist their teammate.
So, okay. Now, this all seems fine. I mean, you could do with another player to protect that ball, but... But the thing that Agen has unwittingly done by putting all of his players kind of there is he has basically removed all his potential... All the 5 of those guys are covered. He's only got 3 extra guys to go and do things with. In comes the white. And Sweet Stew does some bashing. Meanwhile, more bashing. Meanwhile, 1 die block, which works, and does some pushing.
This is where I start panicking.
I would be panicking here. The only plus side is, as I say, the advantage of the gaps in the wide place is that basically he could have covered both your catches. But you're not human, so you got the same strength, so it's less effective against you than it would be against humans, but still. You've got 3 spare players who can all get to the ball carrier, though, so I don't think you're in any trouble.
I'm in trouble if I don't don't knock him down.
Well, potentially true, but at this point he's got nowhere to go. Vanna has a 6 versus 5 situation going, though. If we count the 2 ghouls and these 2 ghouls, 2 skeleton, a skeleton zombie, ghoul, mummy. So she's effectively 6 versus 5, and you've got a reinforcement coming in, so 6 versus 6. You've got the situation kind of down. Although you seem a bit indecisive with that player. And the trip. And also, I've just realised we're already in turn 12 and you've burned both your rerolls.
Yeah.
That's never a good thing for elves.
I had only 1 reroll this time. Because,
Well, yeah, he had only gotten 1.
Oh, do you only have 1 reroll in your team at this point?
Yeah.
Because it's the kickoff.
Yeah, it was the kickoff event. The first.
game.
Yeah, that's why I was a bit confused. Okay, well, that's freed up the ghoul.
But for this game, I do get the 2nd reroll, but I still haven't played with
Spoilers!
It's not like... I'm just saying I got enough money for a reroll.
Spoilers! He could have he could still have forfeited from here. It's possible that 2-1 up, he might have decided, no, I can't win. 2-1 up with 5 turns to go. There's no chance. Okay, so ghoul through the middle. Skeleton to block that guy. Has nobody covering the blitzer at the moment, but... Oh, okay.
Also, this is when I realized Vanna's shenanigans.
Yeah, this is shenanigans. The elf had a reasonable chance of doing that, actually. Oh, pass failed and... Yes, and that does count as a valid pass. Oddly, here's the interesting thing about Blood Bowl. The intended character did get the ball. If another character on Vanna's team had got the ball, that would have been a turnover. But because the intended character got the ball, it passes, and I think you got an SPP for that. No, you didn't get an SPP for it, though.
No, she didn't.
But
that wasn't a turn.
that was shenanigans of the highest order, and I approve. However, ball carrier still goes down. Covers the ball rather than picks it up. And a block. Both players go down, and the Elves are down another player. There are a lot of standing Undead players and only 3 standing Elf players. I don't imagine Vanna's not going to equalise from this position unless she has problems with the ball. Okay, or she does that too many times. Okay, line of 3 Elves. Surrounded by Twinkle Toes. And a rough, tough Cream Puff, who has basically gone from one side of the pitch to the other this half. I'm surprised you didn't blitz with the mummy if it's in range. It obviously wasn't because you just moved up there.
I was just blocking off escapes in case he grabbed the ball.
Well, he might do that anyway if you don't. It does mean you've prevented yourself from having a go at picking up the ball, though. Unless you do it with... I was about to say, unless you do it with One-Eyed Irma, which would be interesting, but AG2 with a -1 for an elf being there. You obviously tried. Bouncy ball, and that ends up in probably the best place for Agen.
Yeah, this is...
Given everything, you're trying to defend, so that's probably the best place it could have ended for you. Because you can get the catcher up and run away with it. If you got somebody up on this side of the field on the left, on my side looking at this, you could have picked that player up, moved to the catcher, picked up the ball, and done a pass, which would have at least got it away from the majority of the action.
You'll see.
Did you try that? Oh, okay, he tried it.
I suppose I should say something memorable.
Yeah, he tried that.
Here comes the last chance pass.
Ah! She rolled a 6.
Worst one to intercept.
I know. Could you have moved further than that?
No, I would have had to risk a going for it because that guy got up.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to risk a going.
No, I get that. You had the ball and it was secured, but that's unfortunate. But 6s happen. Do you realise this now means Muffin is probably going to be top of the interception league come the end of this?
Yeah, Muffin is my top.
I think Muffin's the only one who did intercept.
Yeah. And this is the thing as well. In the ladder of battle, we have 2 interceptions by a ghoul as well. Ghouls, for some reason, even though they have no skills in this area whatsoever, are good at intercepting the ball.
They are.
Muffin
in particular.
The downside for Vanna, though, is you've left the elves enough turns to score.
And this is why. Why are you predicting the future?
I'm predicting the future because we already know what happens, sir. But I'm keeping it covered better than you are. I don't know the circumstances, as I've said, though it's getting close. This is where I started watching the match in earnest. might have been after this initial kickoff. But Vanna on the all-out defensive, not leaving anybody back, which is usually a mistake against elves. And trying to put 3 people in the wide zone doesn't work.
I know, I realized that after. It wouldn't accept my setup, and I was like, why?
Because you're cheating!
That's exactly what I said, because I'm breaking the law.
And rain.
Okay, so is Agen going to go for Suicide Elf strike? This isn't particularly Suicide Elf. But I suppose if you've got enough people sort of covering, you can break through one side. Depends where the ball goes, I guess. Suddenly it rains! I had rain for the majority of my... I had rain for the entirety of my second round. I hate this stuff. So -1 to pick up the balls, which makes elves average, but still able to do it, and makes basically every other player bad at it. So,
wait for my catcher to start moving.
oh, this is a brave push, actually. Okay, so get the ball to your blitzer. Oh, okay. This is an even better start than I thought it was going to be. Makes the going for it as well, so you are definitely in range. So I think, again, you were in range anyway. But I suppose this puts you slightly... Oh dear.
Yes.
I mean, again, that's going for it when you don't really need to, but I guess that was putting you out of range of other people. So, Vanna goes and covers the elves.
This is when I was a bit paranoid about interceptions after the last one.
Alright, I get that. I mean, but they are... You have a -2 to your agility to do any interception shenanigans. The downside from Vanna's point of view is she's just activated the ghoul closest to the ball and who could run furthest. But has freed up the other ghoul now. So, is Muffin going to go for glory? No, first off, ghoul moves up. This might have been what I was talking about with priorities a little earlier, because it's unlikely, but you do have a shot to win from this. And the mummy in position, though, is a nice touch. White dodge is unusual, but works, possibly. Yes, it does. And that all but eliminates Agen's ability to score, which I suppose isn't a bad secondary thing. There's a downside, though. Your ghoul is now going for it once, going for it twice. Did you need to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arguably not, but it depends who else you've now got out of range of.
She got him out of range of the free line, the free stooges.
Yeah, I'm just watching this out here. Because all three of you are players who don't have... Was that a failed dodge roll? That was a failed dodge roll.
Can the player force possession away from
Unfortunately, just a push. Now this is the bit I watched and had an opinion about when I was watching this live. I'll let you know what the opinion was as it begins, because from here, Vanna needs 1 dodge to score. That dodge is a base value. There's no tackle zones on the space she's moving into. So it's basically a fixed value. I believe it's the same regardless of how many players are there now.
Yep.
So, beginning Vanna's last turn. Movement 1. In comes the white. Movement 2. Mum moves up. Could have blitzed there, and that might have made some difference. In fact, that would have probably been a better move than what you end up doing. Ghoul to cover. White moves up, so that now puts you free up there. And here's the blitz. With going for it rolls, 2 of them, for a 1-die block. Which thankfully works. All of which I don't think adjusted the overall dodge roll 3+ to win the game.
Nope. And this is where the replay ends.
This is where the replay ends. Agen, thoughts and opinions?
And so the kicking team goes
Nuffle didn't like me.
Nuffle did not like you. Vanna, thoughts and opinions?
Hurrah!
Hurrah! That'll do. From this, though...
Very good muffin.
From this, Twinkletones, unfortunately a zombie is probably the worst player you can have for man of the match, but 1 injury away from getting a skill, I suppose. And Agen gets a level up thrower to go with a level up catcher. And he's now in a worrying position in terms of league SPP and points and overall power. Also, as we heard, he can now afford a second reroll. Future games with Elves are going to be tricky. But not a bad result all around. This puts the league leaderboard as such. Vicious Vanna is currently on top of the Nurgles, who are the only team on the same number of points. That's also spoilers, isn't it?
Yep, a lot of them.
No, it's fine. This will go after my video, actually. I've just thought about the ordering. So this is fine.
You just have to put it before...
No, I'm already uploading my FC Registered Mutants match, so that one's already happened. I've just got to make sure I do this third after the other match, which would have been...
Dyphon
No, that's Dyphon me. What's confusing me is Matt and Voltage, which was the bye game, because Voltage gets the bye against Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the league. 2 games still to be played. Thanks for joining me.